What is going on, guys? Welcome back to our channel. Today my wife is with us.
Hi.
She has joined us today. She's not too busy for us. Just kidding. No, I am happy to have her here along with me. She does bring a lot of insight with the female perspective, so I'm very thankful and grateful for that. And you know, like all the other reels, first of all, we want to thank you guys for the love and support that you guys have given us. Thank you for all the questions. We have a lot of questions, and you know, we are going to try to answer them as soon as they come out. You know, we're a few questions behind, but we do want to touch every single topic that you guys are requesting. So today's topic that was mentioned to us was, what do we think, or what is our belief as far as setting or having expectations for one another as far as being in a relationship? And that is a good question to have, you know, because a lot of people say, well, what is it, or what is a good expectation to have going into a relationship? And for me personally, and you know, when we were dating, we did have this conversation. You know, the question, you know, was brought up: what do you expect out of this, or what is your expectation out of the relationship? And the answer that I gave her is the answer that I give to everyone: is I don't have any expectations. And she gave me a weird look, and
because I was like, how could you not have any expectations?
And and the reason why I don't have any expectation is because I don't want what I say to be performed by my wife, you know, to meet a standard that she thinks that I have as far as doing anything for me. And what I told her is, like, if I expect something from you and you can't fulfill it, or you can't do it, you're gonna feel bad, because you're gonna feel that I don't meet your expectations. That
you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah, and I told her, like, yeah, it's like I don't want to set myself up for disappointment and make you feel bad at the same time because you weren't able to meet it. With that also being said, when you set expectations, you set that person to a change, or for them to make a change in themselves to make others happy, to let others know that your expectation is more valuable than their own self, you know. And that for me is one of the biggest things that I am against. Is I'm against people trying to change for others. I'm against, you know, people trying to make good impressions just so, you know, they can be noticed by the, you know, opposite sex. So when we talk about expectations, I don't have any. You know, I rather come and what I told her is, like, whatever I can do to help you and to help us, that is what I'm bringing to the table. It's like, I don't expect you to do anything. I don't expect you to try to do anything. I don't expect you to, you know, be a certain way for me. It's like, you just come along with what you have, you come along with what you are capable of doing, and we'll make it work.
Basically, like, we're focusing on what we can bring to the relationship, what we can bring to our partner, or to your husband, or to your wife, or to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. And instead of looking for what are they gonna do for me.
Yeah, and I have spoken with a couple friends, a couple people, other couples, you know, and some of their mentality is saying, you know, what can they bring to the table to make our relationship better, or the relationship better. It's like, what you know, what can they do? What, you know, what I don't want to say abilities, they're not like superheroes, but like what contributions can they bring to the table to make our relationship a better one, to be perfect, to be that couple that people say goals for, you know. And sadly, when people talk like that, they don't develop themselves to be able to say, well, I'm bringing this and this and this to the table. You know, I can do this. You know, I can help out emotionally. I'm a great listener. You know, my shoulder's always open for people to cry on. You know, and things like that. They just want. They're not selfless, and that's what a lot of couples need nowadays. Is step away from what can they bring to the table, but go into what can I bring into the table. You know, and if both you know, both couples, you know, both partners have the same mentality, when they do come together, they are actually more compatible than those that are seeking with what each other have, because you're setting an expectation. This person should be this height. This person should have this type of personality. This person,
this education,
this
they need to be involved
social
in this
status.
ministry.
You have to have over 5,000 followers on Instagram, if not, I can't date you. I'm sorry, no. And unfortunately, nowadays, that's how it is, you know. But I've seen couples where they work with each other and not compete with what they can bring into the table. They're not one-upping each other, saying, well, what can you bring because I have this and this.
Yeah, or I did X, Y, and Z for you, and what are you going to do for me?
And what are you going to do for me,
like
you know. So
I do think if your partner does something that you really appreciate, or like maybe it made you feel really loved or something like that, like letting them know, like, hey, I know we all, you know, we say thank you and stuff like that, but I think letting them know that, hey, I really felt loved when you did this, or like I appreciated it so much because it made me feel like X, Y, and Z, like, you know, I would love it if you did that more often or something like that. I don't necessarily think that's setting a certain expectation. You're letting them know, like, hey, I appreciated this, and like, you know, if you want to do it more often, like, that would be really nice, you know?
And it goes the same way when you don't like something.
True, yes.
You know, when you don't like something, you know, well, you're not saying, well, I expect you to change because I don't like something. You know, it's like,
you only want me one bouquet of flowers. I need 4.
You know, and that, you know, that should also raise a red flag, is when, you know, they expect you not to hurt their feelings, but you don't let them know what does hurt your feelings. You know, that is something that, of course, no one knows that's going to happen. And also, it's in the sense of not making you change, but at least being aware of what is not good in them.
Because you do need to know, like, if somebody feels a certain way because of something that you did to them, they have a right to feel that way, and like, you have to respect that and make changes to not make them feel that way again in the future. Not changing yourself as a person, but if you did something that hurt them, then
be more cautious, be more aware of, you know, of that certain subject or that certain situation, you know. And that's why, for me, having an expectation is a big hurdle, because some of our expectations can be pretty high that it's impossible to reach, you know, and you tend to force your partner to make that change just for your satisfaction. But even at the end, they're still not able to fulfill it, and you're disappointed, and you get upset, and you say, well, I thought you were someone else, you know. So for us, or for me personally, you know, my advice is not have an expectation, but have standards. You know, it's the better way of seeing it. You know, you have certain standards. You know, when we got together, my standard was that I wanted someone in the same belief that I have.
And that's something that you shouldn't compromise on. So if you are getting to know somebody, or there's somebody that you're interested in, and then you find out that maybe they don't have the same belief system, or their morals are completely different than your morals, then that is something that you shouldn't have to compromise on. And that's something that's like non-negotiable.
Yeah, because when you have your standards and let's say you don't talk about them, you're running into a situation where you expect them to have them, and then of course they don't have them. Your expectation was not met, and you're in shock, but yet you guys didn't talk about what your standard of a certain thing was. And that's where things run into, where it becomes harder, is because you guys didn't talk about it, but now you're expecting that person to have that thing that you guys never talked about.
That's why it's really important to ask questions and to get to know each other, when you're spending time together, talking on the phone or whatever the case is.
Even if they tell you they feel like they're being interviewed, don't stop asking questions.
Wow, somebody's still salty? No, because when we first started talking, he was back-to-back questions, and I was like,
I had to know.
You asked a lot of questions.
But if you don't ask the questions, you will never know the answers.
It's true.
To what the questions. When people ask questions, it's not because they want to be nosy, it's because they
want to get to know you.
They want to know. That's why if you guys are married, or if you guys are in a relationship, 6 months and more, you'll see that there's certain questions that were not asked
in the beginning that are being asked now. We still ask each other questions.
No, we still talk and ask questions even then, but we usually start with what's your favorite color, the simple
what's your favorite drink,
the simple questions, but you don't talk, well, what's how many kids you want to have, or anything.
Are you a faithful tither or something like that,
but as time goes on and you begin to develop that relationship, then of course the actual standards that you do have, because you're wanting to be more invested in them and you want to actually continue being in the relationship, now your questions that you have as far as your own self begin to come out. But I believe that no one ever has expectations while they date. I think it happens as soon as they get married. But again, if you have that communication and preset yourself up to what you're capable of doing, you'll be fine. Or just don't have expectations at all and just go with the flow. But also at the same time, ask yourself, what can you bring to the table? Not what is your partner.
How are you contributing to the relationship?
Right. Or not, don't ask what is my partner bringing in and let me one up them or let me match them, because you guys will pretty much be dull and there won't be any excitement in the relationship. But for me, I don't have any expectations, just to avoid any ill will as far as saying, well, you're not meeting my expectations, you're not up to par as far as where I am, or you're not the person that I thought you were going to be. It doesn't work that way, and nor it shouldn't ever be placed in that position as far as saying to your partner, you're not the person that I thought you were. So for me, myself, my wife may have a slight different, point of view on it, but try not to have an expectation. Just go with your standards, go with your self-worth, go with what you believe, and the partner that you have right now will respect you. Mm-hmm. And will not.
But they should respect you.
They should respect you. Will not make you change or make you feel that you should change for them, or anything like that. So for our point of view, as far as having expectations, we don't. Just for the fact that we don't want to set a high bar that humanly may be impossible to reach or be satisfied with at the end of the day. So that is our advice for you guys today. And again, we want to thank you guys for joining us. And
please subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed.
Yeah, subscribe and let us know. You can our Instagrams will be in the description. You guys can leave a comment with more of the questions. Like I said, we do have questions that we're still answering from people that are coming in.
Or if you want to send us a DM.
Yeah, feel free. You know, just ask the question, and then we'll cover it and we'll discuss it, and then, you know, hopefully it meets your guys' standards or your expectations. No, but again, guys, thank you guys so much for being part of our lives, for tuning in with us. You know, we thank you so much for everything you guys have done for us. And until next time, bye.
Bye.